imagine what it's like being a kid basically in your 20s and having all of this money. Like you can basically get up in the morning and do whatever you want to do. Most people are figuring their lives out at that point. Like they're starting to work and you're like retired basically at that point.
Almost everything that's taught in college can be learnt on YouTube and from the internet. So why do you even go to college? Well, I'm not discouraging you to drop out of college. In this video, we're going to talk about a couple of reasons why you should be going to college. The number one reason is the network that you get, right? The alumni network that you get with college. It's always said that your network is your net worth. If you know the right type of people, then getting things done becomes very easy. For example, if you want a job, you can get a referral from one of your alumni working at a top company. If you want a client and if you want to reach out to them, you can ask one of your alumni to put you in touch with the client and give a referral. If you want some life advice, you can get it from successful alumni from your college. And if you want, say, investment for your startup, then you can contact some of your alumni and see if they know some venture capital folks. And just in general, you can hang out with really smart people. And some of you might be like, hey, my college does not have smart people. I don't think that's true, right? Every college, just go on LinkedIn, type in the name of your college and see where your alumni are working at. If they're working at really good companies, if they're running their huge businesses, then stay in touch with them. Because when you get in touch with smart people, if you get in touch with successful people, then the likelihood of you becoming smarter or successful increases, right? In today's video, I've collaborated with Noah Martins. He is one of my friends at BitsCoa. He's a stand-up comedian, he's a podcaster, he's a musician, he does everything. I've left his channel links in the description, do check him out. We've met some pretty cool folks from Bits because of the alumni network, and we're just going to discuss about that. And the purpose of the video is to make sure that you guys contact your alumni and make the most out of it. So without any further ado, let's get into the video.
So I think, one of the most important aspects about the Bitsian culture is its alumni network, right? We have a very extensive alumni network. And this year we had BGM, Bits Global Meet. So would you like to tell people what BGM is all about?
Sure. So Bitsa Global Meet is this event that happens for Bitsian alumni once every 3 years, I believe.
Yeah.
Right, Hari? Right. So what it is it's a full alumni meet of all the alumni from all the BITS campuses. And every year it happens, every time it happens in a different campus. So Harish and I were lucky enough that during our time, it happened in our campus. You're in the same room as all of these super successful people that were once in your own classroom. One thing that really blew my mind is that in our auditorium where we watch movies and we have events, during that BGM, there were billions of dollars in that auditorium. And that was just something that was pretty crazy to think about, Like in my canteen where I get samosas every morning, there was $1 billion in that canteen,
Yeah, I still remember, during lunch, we went to the canteen part of the place and there was gulab jamun, dal, rice, all of that. And right next to us, Hari Menon and Harsha, the founders of Swiggy and Big Basket, were eating, and we were like, "Damn, this is crazy," because having lunch together. But yeah, they were surrounded with people. But I think it just acts as a good icebreaker, because I'm not sure how many millionaires I spoke to during BGM. Every time I approach someone, they're like, "Hey, I own this huge factory. Hey, I work for this amazing company in San Francisco," and it's just so crazy because these are people who are like the cream of the society. It's very hard to even reach out to these people. But during BGM, as you said, we had billions of dollars packed into our campus. That's pretty cool. Who was the most interesting person you met during BGM?
So during that time is when I started recording a podcast series with as many people as I could. And initially, I didn't really understand what BGM would mean for me. I just thought it would be like a bunch of people come to our campus and they do their own thing and they leave. But when me and a friend and I was sitting in one of the first sessions, which was a panel of venture capitalists, and we got to hear them speak, it just seemed stupid for me not to take advantage of having these people here. Like I could have thrown a stone and I would have knocked out one of those people. Like they were that close to me, right? And that's not something that's not an opportunity that most people have. So I just felt like I had to take advantage of that. And so the first day itself, I tried to meet as many of these people as I could and pitch to them to do an episode of my podcast. And I did manage to get a few people. I got Sanjay Nath, who is the founder of Bloom Ventures, which is one of India's biggest VC firms. I got Sujit Panigrahi, who is a sports entrepreneur. And that day when I went back to my room on the first night, I sort of realized that shit, I just recorded podcasts with like Joe Rogan level guests. And that day, me and my friends, we found a list of whoever was at BGM, and we made sort of like a hit list of whoever we wanted to talk to. So because of that, like we managed to, because we knew who was who because of the hit list, we managed to talk to a lot of people. Now, although all of them didn't do the podcast, it was a great experience. So I spoke to the Swiggy founder, I spoke to Harsha, I spoke to Hari Menon, I spoke to the Redbus founder, I spoke to Harish Bhatt, who is the head of branding for Tata. How did I approach them? Right. So this is something that I think most people need to learn. I think if you want something, you just go and ask for it. And you hear this all the time. And obviously, I'm not saying get into someone's personal space and, you have to, of course, read the situation. But as often as possible, I think when an opportunity presents itself to you, you should let go of your inhibitions of feeling shy and shame and stuff like that, and just go for it and ask for an opportunity to talk to these people, because otherwise you're just wasting that chance. So what I did is I'd go up to these people and I'd introduce myself. I'd make a little bit of small talk, why I appreciate what they are working on or what they've built, and then I'd pitch the podcast to them. So of course, like I can't just go and say, hey, do my show, please. That's not a good enough pitch. I need to show them that that I'm serious about what I'm doing, and that they're not wasting their time giving it to me.
So you spoke to the founders of BigBasket and Swiggy?
Yes, I did. They did not agree to do the podcast, but I did. I actually spoke to them in the canteen. Like something that I get to tell my friends, which is pretty cool, is that I got to see the Swiggy founder buy food offline. Right? So what I spoke to the Swiggy founder, and what he said is that he doesn't really do these interviews and stuff like that very often. He's an introvert. Probably just 50% of the people I asked said no, but that's fine, because 50% of them said yes, and that's totally worth it, right?
Yeah. So that same night, like one of the alumni threw a party for us because we helped him organize some events, and that's why he took us for dinner outside. So at John Siegel's, the moment we enter, we see Swiggy and BigBasket's founder having dinner, and that's when we were like, oh, at least we need one picture to flex. Right. I never thought of having a conversation with them, because it was the same fear of getting into their personal space. But maybe I could have had a conversation maybe next time. But yeah, then after dinner, we just went to them. We were like, can we take a picture? They were like, sure. And that's the only interaction I had with these guys. But yeah, to be honest, like, do you find these really successful people nice? Do you find them to be polite? Not polite, but just be kind to people?
Okay, so I've been doing this podcast for about a year now, and I've spoken to a little more than a dozen high, I won't call them high society, but like extremely successful people, 15 plus, like extremely successful people. And I honestly feel like the more successful someone is, the nicer they've been to me personally. Of course, there are exceptions here and there, but as a general rule, like for example, the Redbus founder, right? He was so nice. Like we had all of these things, organizing, shooting these podcasts were very on the spot, because we decided to do it as we met the people, right? So we didn't have a room to film, and we just found some empty classroom somewhere and set up our stuff. We didn't have permission from everyone. We actually got kicked out of one of the classrooms because there was going to be a class there just before we shot the podcast. This was for the Redbus episode, actually.
Spoke to the Redbus founder, he was just standing. I don't think people noticed him. So I just walked in and then introduced myself. I was like, hey, this is the startup idea I'm working on. He gave some feedback. And the crazy part is he was just giving away his number to everyone who met him. The cards and number. Like usually we think like, oh, if I meet a huge founder tomorrow, maybe he'll value his privacy, not give his personal WhatsApp number and stuff like that. But he was so good. He just, just because maybe we were Betsians, I don't know. But even if they're like second year students, he just gave his phone number away. and that was also a act of kindness of sorts.
Right.
But to be honest, yeah, Fanindra Sama is very down to earth. Pretty sure his
Yeah.
net worth is more than $100 million. That's how much he sold Red Bus for.
Yeah, I think the acquisition was for 125 million, but I don't know how much
Okay.
equity he owned. So
Yeah.
I don't know what his net worth is,
Mhm.
but it's definitely up there.
He's a
One of the
millionaire.
things, yes, one of the things that we spoke about on my podcast is I asked him whether it was hard to let go of his company when he sold it, and his reply was actually pretty interesting. He said that imagine what it's like being a kid basically in your 20s and having all of this money. Like you can basically get up in the morning and do whatever you want to do. Most people are figuring their lives out at that point. Like they are starting to work and you're like retired basically at that point. So yeah, it was really interesting talking to him and understanding his perspective of life given the extremely irregular life that he's had.
Yeah, exactly. Like you suddenly become rich and then you realize that your friends are still working and they're continuing with your life and you just have too much time in your hand. Yeah, it's kind of weird, but it's a good position to be in.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's super down to earth, and I think he's contributing to a lot of government initiatives of
Right.
promoting
Right now,
entrepreneurship.
he is the Chief Innovation Officer of the state of Telangana. So, what
Mm.
they're doing is they're trying to find ways to make people innovate at a very small level, at the rural village level, and trying to solve local problems locally. Like
Mm-hmm.
trying to teach people to innovate, basically.
Hope you like the video and hope you start contacting some of your old college graduates and be like, hey, what are you doing in life? Can we be friends? And then just hang out with cool people, be smart, just hang out with smart people. I'm dumb, and that's why I hang out with smart people, so that at least I get to know something. And that's pretty much it, guys. I'll see you in the next one. Take care. Bye.